Warm welcome to all of you to the 8th edition of the Times Now Asian Business Leaders Conclave 2024. Well, my name is Kavya R. Chavali, and I'm wholeheartedly delighted to welcome all of you to another phenomenal evening, an evening that's filled with insights flowing in from our leaders, of course, felicitations of the amazing leaders that inspire us and that have made significant impact, whether it's in terms of industry or the nation itself. First up, it's time for an explanation on the research methodology by Median Research and Consulting. If I could please invite on stage Dr. Ruma Banerjee, Head Quantitative Research, and Venkat Krishna Rao, Divisional Manager, Quantitative Research, Median Research and Consulting.
We as in Median Research and Consulting would like to share with you the methodology we used to identify these leaders who are truly poised for growth. I would request my colleague Venkat to take you through.
To start with, even before we evaluate them, first we need to have an exhaustive list of organizations and individuals. So once we arrived at these lists, then we actually moved on to the evaluation process. Now the evaluation process has 4 steps to it. The first step is selection of parameters. Post that, we are looking at how to collect the information, the data collection part. Then we look at a rating assignment for each of these parameters. And finally, we look at indexing of the score, a single point score for each organization as well as individual, based on the weights we assign to parameters. So once the weights are assigned, we look at the scores and then we shortlisted both organizations as well as individuals. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me also inform you that this evening we have the presence of another pioneering leader, none other than Mr. Sanjay Bhattacharya. We're about to get started with the felicitations, but before that, we'll also take the opportunity for the unveiling of the most promising business leaders of Asia, the Coffee Table Book. So on that note, the very first name that's being felicitated this evening, please put your hands together as I invite Lingaraju Saukar, President, Kyndryl, India.
First and foremost, I think being extremely ambidextrous about dealing with things as they come by. Second is being fully aware of the technology changes, but more importantly, I would say it's being extremely open in many sense, open about yourself, being open about what you know, what you don't know, and being extremely open to newer things and ideas that come your way. I think these are 3 fundamental areas that one needs to be what I call pretty grounded on. And of course, there are other things that come your way, but if you keep these 3 fundamental, I think one should be able to navigate all the opportunities as well as the challenges that come in front of us.
The next leader that's being felicitated, none other than Anupam Bansal, Director, Liberty Shoes Limited. Let's have a round of cheers.
Communication, I would say, is the most important part, and it keeps the whole company intact. At Liberty, if you see, we divide communication into, let's say, 5 parts. First is to communicate your vision to people in terms of how effectively are you communicating. Second would be the transparency, how transparent it is, so that it is not one-way traffic. You make people part of it, you discuss your plan very, very clearly. Thirdly, it should be motivating, so that your vision is motivating the team members, and the communication should lead towards effective dialogue, which is motivating, transparent, and on top of it, from all levels. The communication should not be just with selected people. I think people should feel from top to bottom. They can talk to each other and communicate effectively, which should lead towards great progress in the company.
Let's march ahead, and let's also hear it for the next leader that's being felicitated, Deepali Goenka, CEO and Managing Director, Wellspun Living Limited.
Leaders need to have a clear vision and a strong sense of purpose to guide their actions and decisions. They need to understand and analyze the challenges of the present and future while maintaining a solution-oriented mindset. They must anticipate challenges, adapt to changing consumer preferences, and drive innovation to stay ahead of the curve. It's important to remember that the consumer landscape is continuously evolving. Consumers in today's day and age have conviction in their choices and are far more expressive. They demand quality, convenience, and personalization from the brands they choose. Therefore, leaders need to be agile, responsive, and empathetic to their needs and expectations.
May I now please invite Dr. Rajiv I. Modi, Chairman and Managing Director, Cadila Pharmaceuticals Limited. We have Mr. Ramesh Choksi to receive the honor on behalf of Dr. Rajiv Modi.
Thank you, Dr. Rajiv Modi, for talking to us. Congratulations on being felicitated as the most promising business leader of Asia 2024 at the Asia Business Leaders Conclave. Sir, first up, I want to talk to you a little bit about your leadership style. So, how do you prioritize and adapt the leadership strategies so that they are in line with the unique needs and challenges of different teams or of the larger organization? It's very important. This adaptation is most important. How do you manage that?
I believe in simplicity and transparency. So as soon as you become part of the team of Cadila, of the leadership team, of participating team, we always have a chai pe charcha in my office, and I sort of bring them to peace with themselves, with the company, with the environment, and encourage them to think normally, not be overwhelmed with the glamour and the pomp of Cadila, the history of Cadila, and be themselves. And as soon as people start becoming themselves, life is simple. You ask a simple question, you get a simple answer. So while we hear a lot of complicated words about leadership, I think we are all human beings, evolved over time. So as soon as we talk to each other as fellow colleagues and actually truly respect and believe in each other, I think things become normal. So that's really the way Cadila runs. And I encourage that because, in this modern world, with so much of opportunities and variations happening, people come and go. But as soon as they come in, they get adapted to Cadila, and then life goes on. And that's the Cadila system.
But so whenever a strategy is implemented, it's important, how they say in all of these business books, that it's important to measure it, to be able to see the impact. So what are some ways some maybe indicators that you use so that you can evaluate the effectiveness of your leadership strategies?
So what I have noticed in the evolving corporate world today is evaluation, monitoring, keeping a tab on people is very important, but it's tough. So many leaders shy away from that and let things pass by. While in Cadila, what I try to encourage is always measure. I try to encourage every leader, every participant, that at the end of the day, at the end of a meeting, at the end of a task, always measure what was your goal and what's the outcome. Is your outcome on a time-bound fashion? Is it actually, do you have a timeline by which you will get the outcome? And repeated conversations without the pressure from the leader, but encouraging them that that's the best in life. So if you do something, you're spending your time, then it's good to measure what you're doing so that you have self-confidence, you feel confident that you've succeeded, and that self-confidence itself brings a lot of enthusiasm in the team, and that makes our ecosystem very vibrant.
So people say, of course, the role of communication is very important. How do you ensure that this effective communication happens within the team and organization? Because very often, so what happens is, top down, there is a lot of communication, but bottom up, there is less. But how do you ensure that that happens?
So it's very, very critical. In fact, at various forums, various meetings, I continuously emphasize the importance of communication. So I say communication is so fundamental in all aspects of life. Especially now here we are all working in a professional environment. So communication is fundamental for success. And the more people are able to communicate, and that's difficult. I mean, to be honest with you, it's very difficult for people to express their views, especially when they're one-to-one with a leader or in a group. You know, people are shy. They don't say that, but they take back, they withdraw. And so creating an environment where people are free to talk is very critical. I can tell you the bad part of it. Bad part of it for me is a meeting which would take 15 minutes. Because you want people to talk, communicate, etc. It will take more than 15 minutes. So I think it's a journey.
Because the other
it's a perpetual journey.
Exactly, sir. And one concern, like you also mentioned about, is that somebody at the top is fine, but the lower rungs, they are worried that if they speak up, will that be taken well? Will that be?
So I'll tell you, so important. Life is, I'm a simple man. Life is, people make it so complicated. Just the other day, we had a meeting, and there were some challenges, and people did not know. So they said, I have to ask this guy and this guy. So they call everybody. Sir, वो तो बहुत junior है. What? Sir, we should not call him in the meeting. I said, what's the problem? Let's call people in the meeting. The guy came to my room for the first time in his life. I mean, he's working for 15, 20 years. So amazed that he was called in the room. I offered him a glass of water and a cup of tea, and he couldn't drink it. So, but then after some time he settled down, and it was fun. So I think break barriers. Don't think of levels when you're in a meeting. We're all human beings, God's children. Talk to each other. We are here to solve an issue or a problem, or congratulate people on some success. So do it.
Can you share maybe some more examples of some successful leadership strategies that you've implemented in the past, the impact that they've had on the organization?
I don't know where to start, but at our level, most of our meetings are to discuss challenges, and everything is different. So it's a new situation at every forum. You talk of global business, then you talk of people from multiple cultures. How do you adapt to people who are not of Indian origin, a different origin? How do you talk about the success of our culture, our way of handling things to people in different parts of the world, whether it's Europe or it's in Africa or it's in the Middle East. Not only different cultures, but different religions, different practices. So I think there's no single solution for how to handle and demonstrate leadership. I only say one thing, you are part of the team. You're welcome to Cadila. You have been chosen. You're a wonderful person. Do your best. Don't be afraid. And I think when people realize that, they open up. And then they manifest as human beings. Wonderful things come out.
So the pharma industry, and Kerala Pharmaceuticals, of course, is one of the leaders in this sector. The pharma industry is very vibrant, always changing, evolving. So your thoughts on what type of leadership is required for pharmaceutical companies? Because to navigate the next phase of growth, and there are a lot of emerging opportunities in India as well as globally, your inputs, your guidance, your advice?
Pharmaceutical industry is a serious job. Running a pharmaceutical business is a serious job. Based on the guidance from my parents, and as I operate and live the life in Cadila, in India, around the world, ethics is primary. So at Cadila Pharmaceuticals, there is no substitute, there is no question about ethics. We have to do the right thing all the time. Make the best quality medicine, there can be no compromise. Ensure that all the zillions and billions and zillions of pills that we produce of different products sold in India around the world have consistent quality. which is per the specification. To ensure that, you require good equipment, good technology, above all, very good training for people, good supervision, good encouragement. So it's a very involved and participative management, from leadership to talking about board meetings, corporate structures, mergers, acquisitions, and so on, to actually producing a product, to developing a product. So it's a very, very involved process. And above all, I think that there's one line which governs my way of thinking and the way of working in Cadila, is there is no compromise to ethics. Do the right thing, the best thing you can, no compromises. And that's been sort of percolated to each and every Cadilian, not only Cadilian, but also our people who work with us and help us propagate our product, distribute our product, and so on.
Ethics is paramount, sacrosanct. No kind of compromise on ethics. So as we wrap up, one last question. So you were felicitated as the most promising business leader of Asia 2024. Your thoughts, sir, and the kind of your message to all your company.
First of all, I'm very flattered and very humbled by the recognition. I thank the organizers for recognizing Cadila. I represent Cadila, so I'm speaking of the company, of all the colleagues, the 10,000 plus people who directly work in the company. And I actually, I'm sharing this on behalf of all of them. It's very gratifying to understand that people have recognized the efforts of the company.
Fantastic, sir. So congratulations once again to you and the entire team, and thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you so
very
much.
Please put your hands together as I invite Abhay Tiwari, Managing Director and CEO, Star Union Daiichi Life Insurance.
The world is having a very uncertain and volatile period. So what I feel is that we need a very empathetic leadership which can create a very collaborative kind of an environment, because the shared goals and shared communication really makes the team or inspires the team to achieve what we really are aiming for. Because when the times are uncertain, I think the collaboration between people and the ability to listen and to understand and then look for a solution, I think they will be able to come out with a great answer.
I now invite R. Sri Krishna, CEO and Executive Director, Hexaware Technologies.
Every business in the world has two frontiers to conquer. The first is to make their current business platform-based and become a code-based business. The second frontier is to use technology to be in industries and new revenue streams that they currently are not. I can sit in my garage and become a better bank than the biggest bank in the world using technology. And Gen AI is going to supercharge that.
And on that note, let's go ahead and celebrate leadership as I now invite on stage Puneet Gupta, Managing Director and Vice President, NetApp India and SAARC.
In the last few years, technology has really changed the way we live. The way we buy groceries, the way we buy milk, the way we commute, the way we travel, everything in the world that we do. And when this change happened, businesses really adapted very quickly, brought in digitization, and were able to serve the customers. What really accelerated this process were the born-in-cloud companies, which came and disrupted several industries. Today, if you look at it, AI is going to be the next disruptor. And clearly, AI will force companies to transform themselves significantly. Companies that will embrace technology transformation are the ones that will be winners of the future.
Let's hear it for Rajkumar Roy, Managing Director and CEO, Ampere India.
Traditional business, if you see, if they have to be relevant to meet the modern needs, they need to adapt. and technology is perhaps the only way that they can really adapt to that. And I'll give a very interesting example from the social sphere. So if I as a parent have to be relevant for my child, right, I need to basically adapt to the needs the way she needs it to be fulfilled. If I do not really adapt, if technology doesn't help me, perhaps he or she will go to say some other places to fulfill the same needs. So technology basically makes traditional businesses adapt to meet the future needs.
Let's move ahead and invite the next leader, Shirish Anjaria, Chairman and Managing Director, Dynacon Systems and Solutions Limited.
Technology has been a game changer for businesses. It helps them to be flexible, creative and grow. For new age businesses, it drives a change, and for traditional businesses, it helps them to stay important. From artificial intelligence to digital transformation, technology serves as a backbone for enterprises to adapt, compete and survive in the dynamic market.
The next leader, we're talking about Rahul Garg, founder and CEO, Moglet.
Equity, I think India probably led the way when you talk about QR code and payments. We are the number one in the world, in fact. That's a huge example of equitable knowledge on how you can transact, right? You are financially more empowered. I think that is fabulous. We have led the way. Another, I would say, Digital India, the revolution, the way the rurals have been touched with internet connectivity, I think that is superb. So everyone is kind of getting access to information which otherwise would not have happened. So we have a clear pathway to do that and impact equity as well.
I now invite P. Sukumaran, Joint Managing Director, Renac India Limited.
Being an engineering organization, our transformation has been very slow, unlike the technology companies. When we began our journey more than 3 decades ago, we were very clear that we will focus in an area where there was least development in our country, and India needed it most. We focused on cold chain infrastructure, which was non-existent 30 years ago. We created a range of equipments, solutions, engineering capability, building up the team, and created the entire chain, right from the farm to fork. And today, we are in a leadership position, catering to all segments in the cold chain.
And let's hear it for Shripad Ashtekar, Chairman and Managing Director, Signpost India Limited.
The leadership is all about taking risk and taking a decision on right time and calibrating the business model, which will work in all weatherproof, and definitely the curves and fogs will be there in the journey, and we need to build a recipe as a leader where it will move ahead with the faster pace and sustained growth. At Signpost, we live with a motto where not only we learn or prepare or plan for the future, we go out and create the future.
Let the felicitations continue as I invite Rajdeep Kumar Gupta, Managing Director and Group CEO, Route Mobile Limited.
If you see the technology today, I think technology has changed the entire paradigm of the way business has been done today. I think the new businesses or new age technology companies are innovating faster to reach wider audience. That is only possible because of the new tech. And I think the future is going to be more on a data driven. I believe that using data and AI is going to be the next future, the way most of the enterprises are going to communicate. And I think everybody is looking out for a better outcome and better reach to their end customer. And small scale startup nowadays are also playing a very critical role to provide the enhanced technologies to the large enterprises. And AI and ML is going to be the next big thing for next decade.
We now invite Matthew Job, Executive Chairman, WaterTech India.
Business transformation actually starts with putting in place an purpose that unites the entire organization and guides all key decision making. The organization needs to think beyond its current positioning, performance, and capabilities. It needs to overcome inertia and question existing paradigms. It is important to retain the organization's core strengths as the foundation on which to build the future. Now, transformation also requires the entire organization's collective capabilities and experience. The demands will be too big for an individual or a small team only to pull off successfully.
The next leader that we're about to felicitate is Pinakin Dave.
Technology is playing a very important role in digitizing the business operations, streamlining the customer data, streamlining the business processes, which is helping the organizations to make a better decision and reach the market faster. However, it is of utmost important for the organization to achieve the balance between adoption of the new age technology and safeguarding and securing the digital assets and the customer data. So therefore, it is important to win the customer trust by delivering the digital assets in a secure way.
On that note, as we call it a wrap, thank you so much for being amazing. We can't wait to host you all in our next edition. This is Kavya signing off. Thank you.